not going to tell you that. There's a trade secret. There's a couple things that we can't talk about, and they're fairly obvious, but they're important. First of all, as we sit here, we don't see organized opposition. It could come. It's getting a little late. It does sometimes come late, but
Other than laying off.
we would call that less organized opposition. I'm talking about a funded, organized, somewhat aggressive effort. We don't see the makings of that. That's an important piece. It's high enough bar without that. And in the couple of discussions, I have not had them. Other people have had them and told me about it. In the case of some of the usual suspects against things like this. Well, if 2/3 of the people agree, who are you to say that shouldn't happen? If that's the kind of circular nature of this. If you get to 66 2/3, which is, I'm not a big fan of that standard, but nevertheless, if you meet that, and even if you're against it, if you see that's happened, how can you really dispute that when you've met that kind of number? Mm-hmm. So that's working so far, and we'll see how it works out. But that's one of the pieces that are important. I think the other thing is the couple other factors. We worked so hard at refining what's out there, the services that we're including. Public safety, fire, parks, and open space are pretty straight ahead, pretty knowable. The success of the levy is, without that we might have a tougher lift. But I'll just give you an indication. I don't know how many of you know Vern Bisterfeld, longtime county commissioner, used to be a city council member. Vern was calling for this 5 years ago. And Vern is no lefty by any means. His idea of going up to open spaces, driving up deep in his horn and watch the wildlife fly around. But Vern started calling, we should do another one that long ago. Just, a kind of anecdotal, but an important indication. So, parks were known so well, we're known for our parks, but to have underserved areas, I think, wherever you are in the city, that's something that you want to address. And then and public safety is so important to everyone. So the package itself, we think, gives us a good chance as we develop it and as it's road tested. Finally, this is probably there are other aspects that we're not going to talk about, but in an off-year election, chances are the turnout won't be real high. We have contested council races with 3 of them up. Their opponents came in, very late.
Last day.
Those, may heat up more, but if we can get those favorable to it out in higher numbers on an overall lower turnout, those numbers will give you a higher percentage. You're bumping up the turnout, but of your voters, and we feel in that way we can get over that threshold. So
Thank you.
But when you're doing the surveys,